Have you ever stopped to think about where your food comes from? Have you ever thought about the impact it has on the planet? As we face the challenges of climate change, soil degradation, and biodiversity loss, it's becoming increasingly clear that our current agricultural practices are not sustainable. But what if we could grow our food in a way that's regenerative, environmentally friendly, and economically viable? Yes, luckily that's possible.
Yes, it is possible.
Join me in this video as I show you the world of sustainable agriculture, where farmers, scientists, and entrepreneurs are using cutting-edge technologies and innovative farming methods to create a more sustainable and resilient food system. Let's learn together how we can grow our food without harming the planet. What is sustainable agriculture? You may be wondering, what exactly is sustainable agriculture? Well, it's a way of growing our food that puts the health of the planet first.
Okay, so how do we do it?
By promoting soil health, preserving biodiversity, and reducing the carbon footprint of our food. But sustainable agriculture is so much more than just a buzzword. It's a movement that is gaining momentum around the world as more and more people realize the importance of creating a more sustainable food system. And the good news is, there are many different approaches to sustainable agriculture, each with its own unique benefits and challenges. For example, you may have heard of organic farming, where farmers use natural methods to control pests and fertilize their crops without the use of synthetic pesticides or fertilizers. Or perhaps you've heard of agroforestry, where farmers plant trees alongside their crops, creating a more diverse and resilient ecosystem. And there's also regenerative agriculture, which aims to rebuild the health of the soil and sequester carbon by using practices such as cover cropping, crop rotation, and no-till farming. By embracing sustainable agriculture, we can create a more resilient and healthy food system, one that supports both people and the planet. 7 practices of sustainable agriculture. Now that we've explored the basics of sustainable agriculture, let's dive deeper into some of the most important practices that are helping to transform our food system without destroying our planet. And number 7, we have crop diversity. Crop diversity is a simple yet effective practice that can have a big impact on our soil health and environment. Here's why. When farmers rotate crops or plant a mix of crops in the same area, it helps to break the cycle of pests and diseases that can harm monoculture crops. This means less need for synthetic pesticides and fertilizers, which is good news for the environment. This process is called intercropping, but that's not all. Crop diversity can also improve soil structure, increase nutrient availability, and reduce erosion. Plus, by growing a mix of crops, farmers can promote biodiversity, providing habitats for beneficial insects and wildlife. And because different crops have different root structures and nutrient needs, they can help to balance out the soil's nutrient levels. And guess what that leads to? Healthier crops and healthier soil. It's a win-win for our soil, environment, and taste buds. Number 6, perennials and cover crops. Planting cover crops and perennials is another fantastic sustainable agriculture practice, and it can work wonders for your soil's health. When you're not growing your main crop, planting cover crops like rye, clover, or hairy vetch can actually be super practical. You can plant them during these off times, and they'll keep the soil covered and prevent erosion. They also add nutrients to keep soil as they grow and keep weeds under control, which means you won't need to use as many fertilizers or herbicides. Perennial crops like grasses, berries, and trees are another great option. These crops keep living roots in the ground all year long. This helps prevent soil erosion, replenishes important nutrients in the soil, and keeps pesky weeds at bay. Plus, all these benefits mean less need for fertilizers and herbicides, which is great for the environment. Number 5, integrated pest management. Picture this. You're a farmer and you have got a whole bunch of pests that are chowing down on your crops. You could reach for the pesticides and douse everything, but what if there was a better way? That's where integrated pest management comes in, otherwise known as IPM. IPM is a fancy way of saying that you use a bunch of different methods to control pests instead of just using chemicals. This can include things like putting up barriers, using natural predators, or even just physically removing pests. By using a combination of these methods, you can keep your crops healthy without relying too heavily on pesticides. But wait, there's more. IPM is also better for the environment because it reduces the number of harmful chemicals that get sprayed into the air and soil. So not only does it keep your crops healthy, it helps keep the planet healthy too. Before we move on, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay connected and updated. Number 4, no tilling. When it comes to farming, tilling or plowing is the go-to move for planting crops. But did you know that common practice can cause soil erosion, reduce soil fertility, and release carbon into the atmosphere? That's too many disadvantages in a single place. So we have to modify that. That's where no-till or reduced-till methods come in. What are those, you may ask? Well, no-till or reduced-till methods involve inserting seeds directly into undisturbed soil. Not only does this prevent erosion and protect soil health, but it can also save farmers time and money by reducing the need for expensive machinery and fuel. Number 3, branching out. Now, the step to protect our planet and practice sustainable agriculture is to adopt agroforestry practices. This simply means incorporating trees or shrubs into your farm or garden. And what does that do? These trees and shrubs provide a host of benefits, such as protecting crops from harsh weather and providing natural shade for livestock. But that's not all. By planting fruit or nut trees, you could even create a new source of income for yourself. Plus, agroforestry can help combat climate change by storing carbon in the soil and vegetation. So why not give it a try? Number 2, team crops and livestock. Hey, you know what is cooler than separating plants and animals? Combining them. Yeah, that's right. It's time to integrate livestock and crops. You see, industrial agriculture keeps them apart, but by bringing them together, farmers can create a sustainable and efficient system. It's like the ultimate power couple, with animals and crops working together to make each other stronger. Here's the deal. Animals produce manure that can be used as fertilizer for crops, and crops can provide food and shelter for animals. By bringing these two elements together, farmers can reduce waste, increase yields, and make their farms more profitable. So, a perfect day for everyone, including the planet. Number 1, managing a whole system. Alright, it's time for the last trip to keep your planet safe and make your farm sustainable. It's all about managing the whole system and landscape. When we grow food on a farm, we need to take care of not only the parts where we grow crops, but also the parts where we don't grow anything. These areas are important too, because they have plants and animals that are good for the environment. We can take care of these areas by planting things like flowers and grasses around the farm or along the streams. This will give the bees and butterflies a home and food. These bees and butterflies will then help your garden grow by pollinating your plants. It's like having tiny helpers that make your garden better and more beautiful. Because we are promoting biodiversity, in a way, we're helping the planet and preventing it from further harm. Can you think of any ways that you could integrate sustainable agriculture that also helps our planet? Share with me in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about how we can protect our planet, check out my video on how we can stop climate change for more tips and ideas. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to join the conversation on sustainable living. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.